common trademark beliefs that can hurt your business. Number 3, I don't need to protect my trademark because I'm not litigious. One of the things that's important to understand about trademarks is that they are a tool that helps you save legal fees in the future. Another thing that's important to understand is that it's really easy when you're sitting in a position of not being infringed to believe that you won't care if you're infringed. So the first thing, if you're dealing with this thought and you're thinking, you know, I'm not going to ever want to file a lawsuit or anything, let me just put you in a position or help you think about a position that if you are in, really be honest with yourself and do a gut check to make sure that that's true. Because I can tell you, I haven't had anyone come in and say, I wish I hadn't registered my trademark. I've got lots of people come in and say, I wish I had registered my trademark because they're now facing a much more difficult and expensive battle to defend their turf. So the gut check exercise is to put yourself, imagine in the future, so whatever your business name is, let's see, it's your key brand, whatever your key brand is. For most, it's the business name, it's the main house brand, that your customers know you by that brand. You're investing and have invested all kinds of marketing resources and time and energy and, you know, blood, sweat, and tears and hopes and dreams in that name. Imagine now that name is now sending you word of mouth business. This name is attached to a certain amount of value. And if you're not conscious of that, take a moment to think about it and do yourself a favor. If you are an established business, then there probably is, you know, sales, a number, there's a value that if you were to sit down and sell your business today, there's a value of that goodwill. So that is at least part of the value of that your trademark is holding. And by the way, you have a trademark whether it's registered or not, hopefully, but trademark law protects you whether you're registered or not. Registration, which is when people say, you know, protecting their trademark, what they're talking about is registering with the USPTO. That's what most of us mean by when we are talking about protecting your trademark. So what does that do, and why? And you know, I think ultimately the question is, does that provide a benefit if you're not litigious? So again, put yourself in that future state where everything is going great. You've got business that's coming in because of word of mouth, because people know your brand. Now you see a competitor changes their name to something which is very similar but not exactly the same as yours. Maybe it is exactly the same, but it doesn't have to be. It can be very similar. And now you start having customers, you start getting complaints from people saying, you know, where's my product or my service? I hired you 2 weeks ago, I paid you some money, and now I don't have it. And you start realizing, you know, you look them up and they're not in your system. This happens so often, I can't even tell you. We have lots of these cases that come in. And so you're in that situation and you're realizing this wasn't us, then you investigate and you find that there is one or maybe more competitors that are actively using your brand. By the way, this also happened to us recently. And you know, it doesn't generally get better by itself. So then that's when people generally will come to us and say, what can you do to help me? And by the way, if those companies are doing not good service or selling inferior products, what they're starting to do is damage your reputation. And so the value of your brand starts to tank, if you can think about it, because now you're dealing with complaints that aren't even about you, and then the word of mouth starts getting confused and people are saying, don't do business with them. And so this is what happens. So if you find yourself saying, I'm not interested, I'm not litigious, I'm not going to enforce my brand, imagine yourself in that situation and then ask yourself that again, honestly. Because if you, like most people, if in that situation you're going to say, well, you know, I don't want to get into lawsuits, so I'll just rebrand and start all over again. If that's you, then maybe that's true. Maybe you don't want to enforce your brand. I haven't met that person yet, because by that point you will have had all this, you know, this is your brand, there's some ownership around that, and also it represents something that you've invested time in, not to mention money. So I, again, haven't met the person yet that will just happily walk away and let someone else steal all of their hard work building value in this brand. So be honest with yourself and recognize that when you register a trademark, what you are doing is giving yourself a very powerful tool to stop those infringers in the future with a minimum amount of legal fees and a minimum amount of legal hassle. When you don't have a registered trademark, then you have to prove everything in court. That gets expensive. It also emboldens your opponents. And there's all kinds of passive protection you get when you file with the USPTO that you won't even know about or have to pay for, and it's automatically protecting your brand. So I have other videos on that topic. We're getting a little long here, but I just wanted to share that with you. If you find yourself saying, I'm not going to register my trademark because I'm not litigious, please be honest with yourself and imagine a situation that as I described, because I think it's quite likely that you probably will find that you would want to take action to stop someone that's copying you. Anyway, hope that's helpful. Feel free to reach out and check out our other videos for other information. Catherine Cavella, IP Works Law.